Dad, where do babies come from? Mom, why do you have to say those things, those terrible things to Dad? Dad, what is porn? Dad, can I masturbate? Now, if you're like me and you've had to face these questions, then I think this particular conversation you're going to have today might be of interest to you. My name is Makhetha Moshabesha, and welcome to this session with Thora Enterprises, where we do everything with power, passion, panache. I have had many conversations with parents who've had a tough time um, trying to navigate these questions around sex, identity, sexual identity, sexuality, questions around morality, questions around faith, questions around how to interact with other people. And today I'm going to address a few of these questions. I'm not going to go into depth into them. If you want to have this conversation further with us, you can always send me a text or a WhatsApp text on my number 266 5671 6911, or send me a voice note, or even send me a DM on my Facebook or my TikTok under the names of Makhetha Moshabesha. So how do you exactly answer a 5-year-old who asks you what is sex? So one of the things that I normally do is, I remember the first conversations I had with my son was make him understand first that we love him. That's the first thing, basic, and that bringing him into this world was one of the most precious things that beautiful things that we've ever done. Therefore, the conversation I had with his mother in private in our bedroom, that conversation is sex. So that children understand it's from the get-go, sex is about communication. And the product of that communication is is pregnancy. And it has to be pleasurable at the end of the day. We should be happy about what comes out of it. That's the first conversation if you're a parent. Now, I understand that not all instances of sex happened under pleasurable circumstances. People will sometimes get molested, get raped. But I think that is a conversation for another time. The most important conversation is we should never we should never make children feel that they were a mistake, or they were not intended to come to earth, because that shapes how they perceive themselves in this world. So the first thing is always make a child feel welcomed in this world, and make them feel safe to ask these questions. If you are not a mistake, and if you did not burden your parents by being here, then it means that it is okay for you to ask any question about your existence on this earth, including sex. Now, obviously, as they become older and become teenagers, conversations around sex are deeper than that. Then we start talking about relationships, how they approach relationships. And I have a beautiful session that I do with young people where we define relationships. And this goes back again to the conversations we had earlier around self-definition and self-awareness, and what their role is and what is expected of them in terms of behavior when approaching others. But I think the main theme about my message today is, first, we have to make children understand sex is, above all, a good thing. Now, when it happens under bad circumstances, then we have to define what those circumstances are: rape, child molestation, coercion. All these are bad circumstances that defile a good thing, which is sex. And I think that's where the message should be. And how you want to go around that conversation, we can have DM me, and then we can have a deeper conversation around how then you address this aspect of sex to young people. Another question is, how do I reconcile with my child if they have seen me do something really bad, or heard me say something really bad? I think one of the things that we have to understand under these circumstances is that we have to create first. we have to, once we've recognized that our child is aware of our bad behavior, we have to then we have to accept it within ourselves and then move forward and be ready to have that conversation. If we don't have that conversation, we teach them that having tough conversations is bad. So we have to be the first ones to have those conversations. The first part is we have to create an environment, an enabling environment for that conversation. If you're a person that loves taking walks, then that's a good time to have a walk with them. I'm a person that likes to work out in the gym. I then will have that conversation with him while we are working out. And the first thing you have to do, a way to break the ice, is you start the conversation. Yesterday, you saw me do this. How did it make you feel? And be detailed in terms of what he saw. If it's something that is a bit more graphic, then you have to be careful around that. You can maybe cut out a few bits and pieces of that. But if it's something that is not as graphic, but that could also have some negative impact on his behavior or perception of reality, then you have to come out and say it. Yesterday, when I had a shouting match with your mother, I said a few things that may have not, gone down well with you. How did you feel about it? About that? And then validate his feelings. If he says, I felt angry, I felt ashamed, I felt sad, validate that and say to him or her that I understand and I know you did, and I think you were right to feel like that. You were right to feel ashamed. You were right to feel embarrassed for me. You were right to feel embarrassed. You were right to feel the way you felt. That validation then makes the child feel that, yes, whatever you were doing was not right. And therefore, that will be a life skill that will carry on in their own relationships as they grow older. As the conversation continues, ask them, what do you think I should have done better? You'll be surprised. A 5-year-old will tell you, Ndati or Mommy, you could have been a bit gentle with them. A 12-year-old will have their way around it. And then listen to them. And if they say apologize, because that's what you teach them every day, that they should learn to apologize, then let them see you apologize to their mother. Let them see you have a conversation with their mother and apologize genuinely to them. Have a conversation first with their mother to say, I'm going to apologize to you. Let's take this opportunity to teach this young person what it means to reconcile and apologize. And then afterwards, have a conversation about the process of apologizing to your son or to your daughter. I apologize to your mother. Do you think she accepted it? Would you accept my apology? How do you feel about it? These conversations will teach the children that apologizing itself is a process, but there's also an end, which is how the person feels after the apology has been made. So I think with these words, I hope that we can have more conversations like this and address more issues. I know I did not have time to address a lot of the sex stuff, but I'm really happy. I'm really glad that we've had at least a time to discuss a few of these things. Again, I'm Makhetha Moshabesha from Thora Enterprises, where we do everything with power, passion, panache. Join us again. I'll hopefully be able to post more videos where I'll be addressing specific questions that you want to ask us at Thora. Thank you and have a great day.